Hello and welcome to the Week 12 special Thanksgiving edition of the Power Hour podcast brought to you by 2QBs.com. That's TWOQBS.com. And the sponsorship is because the lovely Sal Stefanil, I don't know how to pronounce his name, sent me this awesome Matt Jones jersey in the mail the other day. Very generous. We've shouted out to QBs and Sal a bunch of times. They have some great writers like John Proctor, TJ Calkins, Brian Malone, Joshua Lake, Sean Fichetti, Fantasy ADHD, and a bunch more. Definitely suggest you check out their work and follow their Twitter account. We also have a special guest this week, and his name is Uncle Rummy.
What's going on, man? What kind of jersey you wearing, kid?
That's a Matt Jones jersey.
Nice.
Rummy's joining in late. That was sent to me by Sal a few days ago. One of the best presents I've ever gotten.
Really?
Yeah, we also have Johnny with us. Johnny, how are you doing?
Good, man. I'm just reading everyone just smashing my new Twitter Avi in the chat.
Dude, oh my God, dude. So hot, dude. So hot. I don't know, dude. Seriously, man. Like, is that when you were like trying out for the new Village people, or what was up, man?
Oh man, like you get out of college and it's like you're not in law school yet, and like you just don't know what's going on with your life,
Right. I hear you, man. You gotta experiment, man. You're gonna try shit out,
Right. Oh yeah.
Calkins put it perfectly. He said, "You put the out in outlaw." If you're at home and you don't know, check out Johnny's Twitter Avi immediately before he changes it. Right now, it's him. I actually he lost an Avi bet with Ryan Hodge, and I volunteered to find a picture. So we made the mistake of. He made the mistake of becoming my Facebook friend, so I immediately pulled the most embarrassing one I could find, which was him in like a pink cowboy hat and like a shirt that like barely went over his belly button, assless chaps. I don't know. It was a mesh tank top. It was brutal.
Yeah, but dude, his lettuce was like on point though, man. It was like John's got the corporate lettuce now. Back then, he had like the cascading, like the endless salad bowl lettuce. Man, it was pretty intense, man. Pretty intense.
I'm really glad we decided to rip on Johnny instead of doing that lame thing where we just talk about our favorite Thanksgiving meals.
No, we could talk about that
dishes.
shit too, man. That's cool too. Let's do that too. It's all good, man. It's Thanksgiving, bro. I'm hijacking this motherfucker. Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, I have no thanks to give with my new Avi. I'm stuck till Sunday. So here we are.
No, it's good. It's solid, man. I don't give a shit, dude. You work that like pink hat and whatever the hell else you were wearing, but you were working it, man. You were like fearless. It was pretty solid, man.
I think Johnny's brought a brand new demographic to this show.
Yeah, why not, man? I mean, we're open, especially now in this time. In our lives, we definitely need to be more open about who we bring into.
This is an all-inclusive pod.
Yeah, totally.
Everybody.
Totally, man.
Yeah. All right. You want to get into the first game?
Yeah, let's do it.
You just seem you're a defeated man.
I just I can't I tried to tweet like you were tweeting with Mike Clay yesterday, and like I put in like my input, and then like I realized he's just like that's just all he's gonna see, and like he's not gonna respond to it. He did though. I mean, then again, Mike Clay like responds to eggs, so
Mike used to have an Avi too, where he had like a crazy hat, so he has no place to talk. I don't know. Look back at some of Mike's old Avies, and he has like some weird like Indiana Jones hat, which I have no idea where he pulled that out of. storage. But yeah, so Mike has he's got nothing to really say about your attire, basically.
Yeah. Oh. I Fantasy Labs posted like my article and they like didn't even tag me in it. I think Friedman just like didn't. I think he just didn't want to do it.
So how much longer do you have to like suffer with that avatar?
Till Sunday.
Oh man. Jesus.
And then we'll make another bet. I'll probably lose again. And
No more bets, dude. No more bets.
All right. Can we? You want to?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go, man.
All right. So Vikings Lions. This one has the lowest over under of all three of the games. This one is the one.
Johnny?
This one's at 12:30.
Ew.
Yeah.
You gonna make it, Scott?
I honestly don't know.
Scott's a game time decision for this one.
12:30. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm up late, man. I got deadlines tonight.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah. So this one's like, I don't know if I like. People are excited about Thielen, and I really don't even want to play him. Where are you guys at on the Vikings side? I'm not really excited about anyone.
I don't like the Vikings at all, man. I think this is, but it's always like the DFS way is like everything that we hate is probably something you can extract from that side that is like a good play that where everybody is like totally down on. But yeah, it's just bad. Diggs is not going to play. It looks like, right? Correct.
Yeah, he is unlikely. Yeah, from everything I'm reading, it looks like he's not playing.
I mean, and he's the best receiving play. I mean, outside of Rudolph, really, who probably is probably the best play, because Detroit's terrible against the tight end, and he's probably going to get a decent amount of targets. So I think Rudolph's probably the best play. I don't really love the running game. I don't really love anybody outside of that. I think there's something to be said for the home team. Hosting this game, Detroit. I think the defense is probably going to be pretty tough against Bradford. I don't think the running game is really going to get really anything going. So I think Rudolph's probably your best play. I think if you really want to get cute with somebody like Patterson, because of the opportunity and the return game. But if you wanted to go, say you wanted to get cute and say Vikings defense and Patterson, maybe you could stack that. But outside of that, I think that's just really trying to get way too cute, really.
Yeah, so I think Rudolph's probably the common sense play outside of red zone target market share. I don't have much of an argument outside of that. I'm not really on Rudolph. I kind of expected Johnny to make the case for him though. The running backs non-play. Really, everyone on the Vikings, is like, I guess, a contrarian play. They're going to be low owned, but really not too excited about any of them with Diggs out. I mean, if Diggs was playing, I think Bradford would be a solid streamer up against the worst pass defense in the NFL in terms of both opposing passer rating and DVOA. Thielen had the touchdown last week, but was out targeted by Cordarrelle Patterson. They're both cheap. I'm kind of on Jarius Wright, and I know Johnny's going to give me some shit for this, but I think it makes sense. So in week 5, when Stephon Diggs was out, Jarius Wright drew the start in the slot where he ran 66% of his routes. He only saw 4 targets, but he caught all 4 of them for 32 yards. He's minimum price, and he's up against Quandre Diggs, who's Detroit's slot corner that we've targeted several times this season. He's allowing the 5th most fantasy points per target. Opposing passers are averaging a 134.3 passer rating when targeting him, which ranks 4th worst among 94 qualifying cornerbacks. So the matchup is there, and if you're trying to build one of these lineups with the 3 studs, that salary relief could come in handy. But I agree, it feels gross.
Yeah, it's like how exciting is any receiver on the Vikings, period? And then you look at Wright and like what 5 probably is your like target ceiling.
He has 48 snaps all season.
Yeah. I mean, Quandre Diggs is like legitimately bad. So
yeah,
getting some time against him is a plus, but and then I mean Thielen is going to for sure be probably the most popular value play.
Mm-hmm.
But if Thielen didn't catch that touchdown last week and like just had 4 catches for 40 yards or whatever, which he's had plenty of those games before, I don't think we'd really be talking about him quite as much. But he did have a huge game the week that Diggs missed. Went 8 for 127, something like that. 7 for 127. But he should see Slay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that bother you guys?
You think he's going to see Slay?
Yeah.
He'll see Slay, I think, on the majority of his routes, but I don't expect Slay to shadow.
Okay. Yeah, he feels like Cole Beasley after taxes, really, Thielen. So, yeah, I'm not really excited about it. But, yeah, I mean, I think, obviously, he could end up being more popular than we think, really.
I think he might end up being the highest owned receiver.
Ugh, gross.
I think. Well,
which makes us a natural pivot, really, honestly.
I don't think he's going to be that highly owned.
I mean, everyone wants to jam in Bell and Brown. Or not Bell and Brown. Bell and Zeke.
Yep.
And
I think you can make the argument too for like if you don't want to do Bell and Zeke, that you go to Zeke and Antonio Brown. I mean, it looks like already we've got some injury issues with the secondary with Vontae for the Colts. So I mean, I obviously it makes for. I mean, we know about the splits obviously for Big Ben on the road, but the opportunity there, just in terms of matchup, where it could be totally exploited with Antonio Brown. Obviously, he could be somebody that you could pivot to rather than going with, with that stack. You could go Zeke and Antonio Brown instead and pay up for those two and pivot off of that. Because I think the natural effect right now is going to be pay up for running back and stay away from Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I think we'll get to general strategy in a little bit.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to fuck up the flow. So sorry, Scott.
Detroit side.
Yeah.
Looking at Theo Riddick, the Vikings are giving up 21% of their receiving production in terms of fantasy points to running backs, which ranks 6th most. Riddick kind of lost all of his rushing production to Dwayne Washington last week, but before that, he had double-digit carries in his last 6 games. He had 10 targets last week, and he averaged a little over 7 targets per game over that stretch. He lost a goal line carry to Eric Ebron last week, though, as well. Johnny, are you on Riddick at all?
Yeah. I mean, it's running back is like you really can't. I mean, you can, but it's really gross. You really can't fit Zeke and Bell. So, like, you have to play somebody else for most lineups. If you're making 20 lineups, you can't use Zeke and Bell in all 20 or whatever. So Theo is a guy who just, like, he's reasonably priced. This is a spot where last time they played them, he only had 1 target or 3 targets, which was, like, really just such a weird game for him. That's like not a standard thing. He had 11 targets the week before that, and he had 10 targets just last week. So I think we see 6, 7, 8 targets again against Minnesota, and I think Theo's fine.
Right. Yeah, and obviously if you look at some guys that are comparative in terms of price, if you're going to pivot off the top 2 that we just talked about, Riddick is basically somebody that has that built-in floor because of his involvement in the passing game, where somebody like Fat Rob for Washington really doesn't have any floor at all in the passing game. So he's somebody that you really have to worry about the game flow for him. So absolutely. I love Riddick as a nice pivot.
What about Ebron too? That's the thing with the Vikings is because they're so good against wide receivers. A lot of their production gets funneled elsewhere. 26% of their receiving production goes to tight ends, which ranks third most. Ebron hasn't had a game below 5 targets or 40 yards yet this season. Kind of has a nice little floor there. We were on him last week. We got lucky with that rushing touchdown, though. Are you on Ebron at all?
Yeah, I think he's a top tight end on the slate.
And also, Terrence Newman, you said is unlikely to play. Do you think that puts any of these wide receivers into play?
I think it helps Tate. I don't know. It's weird because like if Newman doesn't play, I don't know if Rhodes shadows, so he probably sees both of them like half and half. Bolden gets to see Munnerlyn in the slot. Whoever's matched up on Trey Waynes is whoever you want playing. I guess Tate sees him a little more than Marvin, but it's interesting because it makes, if Newman is out, it makes Marvin like a little bit of a dart throwable player if he gets some snaps against Trey Waynes, because that dude sucks. You guys got any thoughts on the receiver group?
No, you about covered it, man. I totally agree. I think that's probably the smart way to go about it. And I'm not really excited about Marvin. I mean, other than the fact that he's been other than the early part of the season where everybody was kind of on him, and now we've realized that he's not being heavily targeted, you're really kind of looking at him as that contrarian play because he'll be excruciatingly low owned probably in the slate. So that's probably the only reason that you really want to start Marvin in this matchup.
He is really cheap too.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna be. I mean, even on a small slate like this, he's gonna be pretty low owned, I think.
Yeah, people are gonna play Garcon and Thielen over him and not even touch him.
Yeah, I think the Washington, Dallas slate, people are gonna be really looking at those numbers and targeting those wide receivers, really.
Yeah. You want to play Marvin Scott? I think you could. I think you could throw him into one.
Yeah. All right. Next game.
Lions defense, though. I think like almost every defense is in play.
Yeah, I like the Lions. I like home defenses. I mean, I don't know, man. This is total narrative street, man. But I like on Thanksgiving Day, like, don't you want to fucking start a home team defense? Like, I really do. Like, I think that Detroit. I mean, it's not like they have the really like unbelievable task of like trying to contain the Minnesota offense, which isn't really a juggernaut anyway. And if Stephon Diggs isn't going to be involved, what are they really trying to contain? So I like that. I like that aspect of them. And on most sites, they're really not the most expensive. They're either the second most expensive or third or fourth most expensive. So I like them a lot. I actually kind of like, I know they don't get a lot of pressure, but I kind of like the Steelers defense as well because of the fact they're facing Tolzien. I think his ceiling is probably like 250 and 2 touchdowns at max. So they're going to get some pressure on him. They're going to be able to confuse him a little bit. And, he hasn't really played much at all really in the last year or so, or whatever. So I do like the Steelers, and they're pretty much dirt cheap too. Are they the cheapest defense, or maybe the second cheapest defense? Really,
the Steelers?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, they're on most sites. They're pretty much at the bottom in terms of pricing.
They're in the bottom half on DraftKings. I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, they don't get a ton of pressure, but I mean, they're facing Tolzien. They're not facing Andrew Luck, so.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the Steelers are going to be the most popular play for sure.
I don't know. That's true, man. I think that the defensively, I think that Detroit's probably going to be more popular.
Cool. I don't know. I think it's going to be the Steelers with Tolzien, man.
I don't know, dude. I don't know, bro.
I think they'll push like 50, 60%.
Really? Wow. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, defense is just tough on this slate. It is. This is a tough Thanksgiving slate. Last year was really easy. Yeah. Like You played Stafford, you played Calvin, and you moved on.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, it's so hard with Dallas and Washington because I think they're both gonna push each other in terms of point total, and it's really kind of hard to figure out who's gonna really kind of get pressure and get takeaways and stuff. So,
yeah, that's the big game. So,
yep,
we might as well let's talk that one. So the Skins at the Cowboys, the total opened at 48. It moved to 52 like really fast. Cowboys are pretty big favorites. They're a whole touchdown favorite. It looks like Cousins and Dak will probably be the two most popular quarterbacks, or two of the most popular. And then it's tough, though, to pick who you want on the receiving side for the Skins. I know Djax will probably be the least owned. Garcon will be popular. Crowder will be popular. And Reed will be popular. I think Rob Kelly will probably be pretty popular as a punt option too. Who you guys like?
What do you like, Scott?
Well, yeah. So Zeke, I think, is the nuts play. Really, everyone's going to want to pay up for, I think, 2 to 3 of those big name guys: Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Zeke Elliott. I think I want near max exposure to Zeke. He's averaging 110 yards on the ground and a touchdown per game. He's averaging 4.9 yards per carry. The Redskins are allowing 4.6 yards per carry, which ranks second worst in the league behind the 49ers. We've talked about this before. He doesn't really catch passes, but he is amazing when he is targeted. I don't think he'll need it. Dallas is at home and favored by 7. He should just run all over everybody. This should spur a debate between us. Who do you prefer, Ezekiel Elliott or Le'Veon Bell? I think I'm just going to have both in pretty much every lineup. Yeah.
I mean, I think that really the differentiation is really looking at the quarterbacks and the Dallas Washington slate. Who you're going to have when you pair the two running backs? Are you going to have Cousins? Or are you going to have Prescott? And I think there's no wrong answer. I think they've both been really, really consistent. I think this is a game that's going to go back and forth, and it's probably the best game to really kind of target in terms of who you're going to play in terms of the wide receivers. I think you can have a mixture of some of the lower priced Redskins receivers. I think you can certainly have Beasley in the mix as well. I think people are going to be afraid of Dez a little bit because of the matchup with Norman, and I don't know that, in terms of coverage, how much you'll see of Norman. So it kind of gets interesting in terms of what the ownership will be for Dez. I think some people will be off him a little bit, and it'll be pretty interesting. But I think you can certainly kind of make a nice mixture of, tight ends in this game. You can go Reed, you can go Witten. I mean, you can really pretty much have a really nice mixture of either or on either side, and kind of really work your lineups around the two quarterbacks and their receivers, really.
So the issue with Dez, I think, is that Josh Norman should shadow him. A beat writer came out earlier in the week saying he suspects Norman stays on his side, but I just don't see that being the case. Norman's really had Bryant's number throughout his career. Dez has 7 career targets against him and caught just 1 ball for 6 yards. Week 2, he blew up the rest of the Washington secondary. He caught 7 of 9 targets against them for 102 yards. Rashad Breeland's one of PFF's 20 worst rated cornerbacks. He's giving up the 19th most fantasy points per target. If there is no shadow, Dez is an amazing play. He's going to run 53% of his routes on Breeland's side of the field. He should blow him up, really. But if not, it's a really tough matchup. I mean, I'm not playing any cash games this week, but if there were, he's definitely not in cash game consideration for me at his price tag. GPP, sure, but you're really kind of banking on him blowing up against Norman, which doesn't seem likely, or praying that Norman doesn't shadow. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, I think he shadows. I mean, what has Gruden been like honest this year? He's full of shit. That whole organization's full of shit. Like, I mean, I just don't see them coming out and saying, and then like what? Dez catches like one big pass, and they're just going to continue to let Breland like get smoked. I don't see it. I don't see them putting Josh Norman on like Terrence Williams. Like you can put anyone on Terrence Williams.
Well, here's the thing. You're gonna have some exposure, though. You're gonna have some exposure to Dez. You're not gonna like completely punt, like completely like fade Dez altogether. You're gonna have some in your lineups because especially since, to Scott's point, we're gonna be playing more GPPs this week anyway, for the most part. So you're really gonna have him in some lineups. You're not gonna have him completely faded because this could be a week where it's so divided in terms of distribution, especially in this matchup, that if he scores one touchdown and has 5 catches, he could still be the nuts for the week. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, really. Especially in the matchup where they're both quarterbacks going to be distributing the ball pretty equally, and they both be relying somewhat on the running game. So
yeah, and Norman hasn't been invincible this year. He's given up touchdowns, so that's something that's definitely possible. But I don't see how Scott's going to play Le'Veon Bell and Ezekiel Elliott in a lineup. Like,
I am, dude. Totally.
Yeah. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that tough at all.
How the fuck can you not, dude?
Because then your lineup is like bad.
No, it's not. It's dude. I'm telling you, dude. These are Thanksgiving games. Everybody pretty much is like linear across the board. But if you don't touch the nuts, fucking running backs, and you don't stack them, at least in some of your lineups, it's like it's not going to be great for you.
Dak Prescott has been fucking amazing since week 2, rounding up. He has 18, 24, 18, 20, 22, 28, 24, 21, and 26 fantasy points over his last 9 games. He has 14 touchdowns over his last 5 games and at least 245 passing yards. In all of them, he's one of the safest quarterback plays, if not the safest, every single week. He's like Alex Smith on steroids. And, Zeke's scoring plenty of fantasy points on his own as well. So I don't really think that they necessarily eat into each other too much. I think he is a solid play.
I'm with you. I'm in on Dak. I'm in on Cousins. I think they're both really good plays.
Can I talk about Ice Cold Beastly?
Yeah, man.
So Kendall Fuller is Washington's slot corner, who's another guy we've targeted. Stephon Diggs 2 weeks ago. That was a big reason why. So among 94 qualifying corners, Fuller ranks 5th worst in yards per target, 5th worst in catch percentage, 6th worst in fantasy points per snap, and 13th worst in opposing passer rating. Cole Beasley ranks 2nd among wide receivers on a fantasy point per snap basis. He doesn't have much of a ceiling, but he has hit at least 50 receiving yards in 9 of his 10 games this year. He is kind of expensive, I feel like, compared to some of the other cheaper wide receivers, but I like him given the matchup, especially if Josh Norman shadows.
Yeah. They're going to have to throw the ball to somebody. But I think Dez still is going to command a bunch of targets. I don't think like Norman is going to just like erase him from the game.
It happened last year.
Yeah, but
I think Witten's going to be involved too. Really. Yeah,
we should talk about him. Redskins are giving up the 5th most fantasy points per game to tight ends. He has 10, 8, and 7 targets in his last 3 games. He ranks 4th at the position in targets per game. He's old and he's slow, but that's solid.
Hey, by the way, guys, too, I know Johnny touched on this, why you can't stack those 2 running backs, but you really can if you want to go with in your flex, if you want to use another tight end. I think there's a lot of cheap tight ends in this slate that you can really kind of fucking play with a little bit, So if you want to use Witten and like really take a punt play on Ladarius Green, I think that if you look at the situation with Indianapolis, who's Tolzien really going to target? He's not really going to be able to hit those guys downfield. So he's going to be looking at the tight ends. So you've got guys like Allen and Doyle that he's going to be looking for as well. So those guys are going to be super, super cheap and probably low owned as well. So those guys are in play if you want to do the tight end and tight end flex in your GPP. So I like that. I think that's in play this week.
And I don't think like it's impossible to fit those guys, but I think if
you did. You said it was. No.
No.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just trying to fuck with you.
I think the lineups just look like it's like. I mean, you got to play like Jarius Wright, man. Like,
but I mean, if you want to have Antonio Brown in your lineup as well, yeah, you can't fucking play them because it looks like garbage. But you don't have to play Antonio Brown. I mean, if you want to, you have to kind of extract one of those guys and pivot to somebody like, Reddick or one of those other guys that you can kind of fit them in instead of playing one of the other two running backs. But you can certainly make that work. I mean, it's definitely doable. I mean, it depends, especially on certain sites. I mean, if you go on the PPR sites, there's a lot of running backs that you can fit in the flex. In this slate, there's a lot of guys like Thompson, and it's surprisingly easy to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be really popular to play both of those and a bunch of shit wide receivers.
Damn. Well,
I don't think you can do shit at all.
It's a shit wide receiver slate, man. So
that's true. Yeah, because like all the wide receivers kind of suck. Definitely, like Rummy's point of paying out for the two guys are going to eat.
Plus, because of the Indianapolis, skill players are pretty much fucking off the board. Really, the deep plays. So you have to kind of look at the intermediate guys. So those guys are super duper cheap. The tight ends are cheap. I really don't want to fuck with Frank Gore in the slate, but I mean, he's obviously in play still, so you could use him in the flex as well. And they're going to have opportunities because they're going to like feed him the rock. You're going to look at somebody like, the backup running backs too for Indy, Turbin. He's going to have some play as well. So, it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah. Just one thing, like, don't play Terrence Williams.
Don't play Terrence. Don't play Terrence.
God.
Yeah, he sucks.
People are going to want to play Terrence Williams because it's like a small slate. Just like, don't do it. So Crowder, Reed, Djax. That's like the or Crowder, Reed, Garcon, and then Djax are like. Crowder has like such a sick matchup, but he's getting like no targets. Garcon's getting tons of targets, but like he sucks.
He's super efficient though, right? Like, I mean, Crowder like gets nothing, but he's sort of like in a weird way, like an old school New Orleans Saints receiver, like getting like 4 targets and like going ham, every week. Like he just maxes out his targets. He's kind of funny. I mean, it's like somebody that I don't want to fucking avoid. Like I want to definitely have a decent percentage of him in my lineups, but I can definitely see pivoting to other players. I mean, obviously having some shares of Garcon as well. I don't really want to pay up for it. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but like with Reed, it's like really hard to like love your lineups if you fit him in at tight end. Like I think I don't think the matchup is great for him. I think their safeties are actually pretty good, and they'll really match up well with him. And I don't want to say this, dudes, because I don't want to like fucking put the kibosh on my man Reed, but I just have a bad feeling about him in this matchup. Like he's gonna end up getting plunked. He's gonna end up leaving like early in the game. And I just like, you know what I mean? Because those Dallas like safeties are like nasty, and the linebackers are like they're thumpers. And I'm like, I feel bad like saying this because I just feel like Reed is one of those guys that's so prone to getting hurt, in concussion. His concussion history is so prevalent that over the middle he's going to be taking some hits, and I just he's so expensive in terms of the other tight ends that I just don't want to fuck with him, man. In this slate, I just kind of want to like avoid him if I can. I really like totally punt and play like Green and Doyle or fucking Allen and one of those assholes.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what to do with him. Dallas is giving up the 10th most fantasy points per game to opposing
nobody cares.
tight ends.
Nobody cares.
He
Go ahead, Scott.
So he had just 10 targets in his last 2 games.
Yeah.
Since the bye, but before that he had 34 targets over his prior 3 games and averaged 22 fantasy points per game over that stretch. I don't know if he's going to revert back to that or if the past 2 weeks is something we need to take seriously. Definitely does have the highest projection of any tight end this week. What do you think, Johnny?
Dude, the Redskins are so down with this, just like hand the ball off a couple times and then Cousins just like takes shots downfield. And that does not play well to Reed over the last, it didn't play well in Green Bay when they were taking shots down the field because he's not running down the field. And I just like, I haven't really played Reed all season. I'm just like anti-paying for the most expensive tight end. But this is definitely with a mini slate, he is one of the few guys on the board who can get you multiple touchdowns. So, he's hard to avoid, but he's also really, really hard to fit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but Johnny, I think he's also, to your point, because I'm giving you the opposite effect of that, but I think to your point, he's probably the lower owned of the high priced, players that everybody's going to want to have in their lineups. And we talked about, Zeke, Le'Veon Bell, Ant Brown. He's probably like the 4th most in terms of those guys that people are going to want to play, maybe 5th or 6th that people will be wanting to play. So in terms of ownership, he's still going to be low comparative to some of the other guys on the slate. So there's that. You got that going for you if you want to pivot.
The real question is like, is he going to be? What is his ownership versus a guy like Golden Tate, Jamison Crowder, similar price ranges?
Mm-hmm. I think Crowder's probably going to be pretty high owned. I mean higher than than most people think. Put it that way.
I think we're going to see really concentrated ownership in the 4K guys, like Thielen, Garcon, even Marvin, because you have to use them to fit both of the running backs.
Yeah.
So I think guys like JMO and Reed might get sort of fringed out.
Okay. Scott, I'm not in chat, so tell Sharon I said what's up, man. If she's there, I don't
know. Crowder also has a great matchup. He's up against Orlando Scandrick, who's been terrible since returning from torn ACL and MCL, where he sat out all of 2015. Dallas is allowing the most fantasy points per game to wide receivers out of the slot, where Crowder runs roughly 73% of his routes. Scandrick, when targeted, is allowing a 125.4 passer rating, which ranks 9th worst. It's also bottom 20 in fantasy points allowed per snap and coverage and fantasy points per target. Crowder, Rumby touched on it already, and he was right. Kind of his efficiency based on the targets he's getting is somewhat unsustainable. Still, he has 5 straight games with either 100 yards or a touchdown. I think he's a really solid value play this week. And, if we like all of these pass catchers, we have to like Kirk Cousins as well. Put up 364 yards in week 2 against the Cowboys. And this is kind of before they really started getting hot. Over the last 4 games, he's averaging 349 passing yards per game and 23 fantasy points per game over his last 4.
You got to go incest at quarterback. naked Cousins.
That was good.
I don't know. I don't have anything else for this game. Should we move on to the last game?
Let's do it, man.
So we got the Steelers, the Colts. Steelers are huge favorites. Their defense is probably the safest play on the board, even though they're on the road, which kind of stinks. But
so cheap though, wicked cheap, man.
Yeah. So Bell will probably be the highest owned player on the slate. And then it's tough. I mean, it's tough to use Colts. I think Gore's in play. People want to use Tolzien. I'm not really digging it.
No thanks.
I think Moncrief is probably safer than Hilton.
Really?
He's your shorter route guy.
Yeah,
Hilton
that's true.
runs down the field. Moncrief had more success when they had Hasselbeck on the field when Luck was dead. But it's tough to use any of them. I don't know. Ladarius Green week?
I agree. I think it's Ladarius Green week. He played 8 snaps last week. That's terrible. But they're saying he's going to play a full workload this week. He's super risky. He's also super cheap. And I think that kind of makes him interesting. Sammy Coates has 2 broken fingers, and he couldn't catch balls when he didn't have 2 broken fingers. Eli Rogers really not doing much, kind of about 5 targets every single week. Doesn't do too much on them. So I think he's interesting. I like Antonio Brown this week up against Vontae Davis, who Rummy mentioned is kind of banged up. And Antonio Brown has really always had Vontae Davis's number.
Mm-hmm.
Brown saw last time Pittsburgh played the Colts, which was last year. Brown saw 11 targets. He caught 8 for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, and also added a 3rd touchdown on special teams. Both of those touchdowns and 60 of those yards came on 4 targets against Davis. And Davis really hasn't played well at all this season. He usually grades out as one of our top 10 or 15 corners overall. This year, he's actually graded negatively. So that's not really a concern for me. A big question, though, is Ben, who's been, we know, really bad on the road. But at the same time, the Colts are a really bad pass defense. They're allowing a 102.5 passer rating to opposing quarterbacks, which ranks 4th worst. Johnny, are you on any of these guys before I start talking about Le'Veon Bell?
I think Ben's like really hard to play. But if you want to really diversify, going up to Ben and not having the 2 stud running backs in your lineup will make you very contrarian. But Kobe Hamilton is a guy I think who's a little interesting as a deep flyer, and Ladarius Green. I don't want Jesse James. Not really interested in Eli Rogers. But yeah.
Trump thinks Hamilton is overrated. But anyway. Come on, that was a political fucking.
Scott doesn't do that.
Scott doesn't do that. Never mind. Anyway.
Le'Veon Bell, I don't know if there's much to say about him other than he's averaging 18 carries and 83 yards rushing per game, which is like RB1 status, and then 9 targets and 59 receiving yards per game, which is like wide receiver 2 range. But it's all coming in like one package of awesome. And, Steelers are favored by a good amount. Colts aren't going to be with Andrew Luck. It should be pretty much exactly what we saw last year, where this team's a dumpster fire. And Le'Veon Bell should benefit from that more than anyone else. So I think he's an amazing play. Then on the other side,
Yeah, free square, dude. Free square. He is. He's a free square this week. I mean, Lev Bell.
He's a very expensive free square, but I agree.
Well, no,
if
if you don't play him, I mean, you're idiotic. I mean, if you're trying to be too contrarian and say, well, I'm not going to play him and I'm going to play Zeke and somebody else just to differentiate, I think it's kind of a foolish play. It's almost like avoiding David Johnson, in like a natural, obvious like matchup. It's like just to be contrarian. I think it's silly. I mean, it's a great matchup. Like you said, the splits don't favor Big Ben, so obviously they're going to favor Bell on the road. He's on carpet in a dome. He has nothing to like worry about. There's no elements to fuck with him. I mean, why wouldn't you play him?
He's on carpet. I like that. I like that line.
He's on carpet, dude. He's on fucking shag, bro. He's on shag, dude. Let's do it.
Dude, when like Darius Green gets 2 rushing touchdowns this week,
No.
I'm on record.
Well, Darius. I will say this: the best play for Indy, and I talked about this on Twitter today. Best play is Vinatieri, dude. They're gonna stall so much. He's gonna have like 550 plus fucking field goal chances on FanDuel, man. You're gonna hook that shit up. So
I don't want anyone on Indy at all. I think you can make a case for Frank Gore, but that's Johnny's boy. Yeah. So I'll just say a few quick words. Steelers are allowing the 5th most fantasy points per game to running backs. The 2nd most receiving fantasy points per game to running backs. Gore saw all of the running back targets last week, had a bell cow game, also had a touchdown vultured. He's like a lock for 15 carries, 50 yards rushing, 3 targets, 20 yards receiving. He's super safe, but I just think this offense is a dumpster fire, and I'm not on it.
Cool.
You could lean heavier on him. Johnny, are you on it?
I mean, like his touchdown projection is like way down, whereas a lot of weeks where like he might bust and then he like scores a touchdown instead. It's just like he somehow saves himself. I don't know if we really have that like hope this week. You look at what Pittsburgh did to the Browns last week. They just swarmed them. I feel like that'll be a similar thing this week.
Yeah.
I kind of like Moncrief. Nobody really is talking about him. He's probably the safest pass catching option with Tolzien there. But I mean, I'm not like stoked about it.
All right, so let's put it on wax. Johnny thinks it's Moncrief. I'm going to say the tight ends are in play this week.
Oh,
I know. I don't love it, but they're so fucking cheap. If you're going to go really differentiate from the pack, I think you have to kind of have one of those guys in your lineup. I mean, who the fuck's he going to throw to, really? I mean, other than Moncrief, I think I like that play, but obviously he's not going to be able to hit anybody developing deep in the passing game. So I kind of like the tight ends a little bit.
Dwayne Allen has 6 targets over his last 3 games.
I know. I mean, it's a total flyer, but you can go with the fucking the PI, Jack Doyle. You know what I'm saying, from the 1940s. But yeah, why not? Why the fuck not, man? Let's talk about fucking sides, Thanksgiving sides. Fuck this shit, man.
I'm just like staring at Jack Doyle's picture, man. And
I know you're getting a semi. Are you wearing your pink hat? No. I can see you. You're not wearing your pink hat. Never mind.
The opposite. Like it went inside me.
Oh,
I'm just like,
it went inside you.
I don't think I'm going to play any Colts tight ends.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, in a GPP, if you really want to go fucking nuts, why not just have a share or 2? I might, man.
Rummy is the Somali pirate of podcast guests.
I am, dude.
He just fucking hijacks this shit so bad.
I'm the captain now. Look at me. I'm the captain now, Scott.
All right, Thanksgiving sides. Fuck it. Let's do it.
No.
John wants to keep this professional, man. Look at his hair. It's so professional.
Not
like when he wore the vest and the fucking cowboy hat when his hair was like fancy free and wild, man.
I just know that Scott has like terrible takes when it comes to anything outside of football.
Everything, yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much. We know. We've seen his apartment, how it's furnished. We know he has 0 takes. No, listen, we talked about this, man. I know Al Zeidenfeld is like the king of stuffing. You guys, how do you feel about stuffing as a side, man? Let's hear it.
And man, is there egg in it or is there not?
What do you egg? Fucking, what are you talking about? Egg.
See?
You don't know how to make stuffing, dude. You're like
I'm talking like some hard boiled egg like in the stuffing.
Hard boiled egg. What kind of shit is that, dude?
See, what America do you live in?
Dude, what are you like, fucking from Brussels?
You guys like don't even know how to keep your stuffing moist, man. This is terrible.
You said hard-boiled egg, dude. That's not how you keep anything moist. What do you like, drop big like egg salad in your fucking stuffing or what, man?
I'm telling you, man.
This podcast is off the rails.
It's
off the rails.
It's all right, man. It's off the rail. So what's the libation of choice on Thanksgiving? What are you guys drinking? You drinking beer? You drinking wine? You drinking bourbon? What are you drinking? Whatever.
Bourbon.
It's always Jameson, yeah.
Jameson.
That's not bourbon, Scott. That's not even American.
I know what Jameson is.
Like, who the fuck drinks Irish whiskey on Thanksgiving?
Scott's like, I know who Jameson is. He's a quarterback for the Buccaneers.
Wide receiver for the Redskins.
Yeah.
You're not even going to wake up by that game.
I can't wait for all the Redskins get slaughtered on Thanksgiving Twitter jokes.
Yeah, that would be really appropriate. That would be appropriate.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot. Dan Snyder gets a Thanksgiving.
That's fucked, man.
He's gonna say something really stupid.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Exactly. Is it like a smallpox blanket giveaway at the stadium or no? No, it's in Dallas. Never mind.
Oh man.
Too much. See, you invite me on, and that's what happens. So I invite myself on, but so that's it, man. You guys anti-turkey or no?
Dude, why? No, I'm fine with turkey. I don't get this like turkey hate on the timeline.
I don't get the whole Thanksgiving foods like anti-take. Like mashed potatoes and gravy are like the fucking goat ever. Like, I mean, why would you like hate that? Delicious. I mean, I get it if you're trying to like stay slim and you want a 6-pack and shit, and like you're trying to be out at the club and like carry that 0% like body fat thing going on. But who the fuck doesn't like mashed potatoes and gravy? It's like the greatest thing ever.
Like, you get to be off work, you get to like drink beer and like eat like homemade like meals and go to bed. Like, people were like complaining like, I don't like mashed potatoes. Like,
my parents like straight up like make the beds like before we like even come over for Thanksgiving, so they know we're gonna like nap and shit after. So it's like fresh linens, bro. It's all crisp and shit. So you like crawl right into bed and take a fucking nap right after you eat. It's like the dream scenario, dude. You don't even get to do that at your own house. You know what I mean? It's the tits, man. It's the best.
Wait, Scott, you don't like mashed potatoes?
Scott,
no. Who doesn't like mashed potatoes? Remy's 100% right.
Yeah, it's the best, and I do love stuffing. The cranberry people, though, are split. Cranberry people like kind of like Trump and fucking Hillary, man. It's like the gel cranberry in the can or the fresh cranberries.
Cranberries are gross, especially when they're canned.
Yeah,
and gelatinous.
Canned's bad. What about you? What do you think, Johnny?
The cranberry?
Yeah.
I mean, it like, I'll eat it. I'm not like running to Thanksgiving for cranberry, you know?
I'm telling you, it's so good on a sandwich, though, man. You slather that shit on a
sandwich. Oh, yeah,
like
like you're talking like
next day?
Yeah. Oh, the leftover? Yeah. Throw that like the whole thing? Yeah.
No, I mean like for the actual meal, like if you have like a spoon of it, that's fine. But if you have it for the next day on your sandwich, man, like in between and shit with the stuffing, it's like you have that moisture. It's fucking phenomenal, dude.
I agree. Even Thorman like came in to agree with the next day sandwich.
The next day sandwich is the best, man. I was telling, listen, and this is the GOAT fucking move. This is the baller move. This is a contrarian move. This is like the fucking Colts tight end in your GPP move. Okay, even though you don't want to play him, Johnny. You want to take your fucking stuffing, dude, okay, and put it in a waffle iron and fucking like make that shit into waffles. I swear to God, dude.
What is happening?
Listen, dude. Listen to me. You're gonna fucking. I'm teaching you, dude. Listen to me, young Jedi. You put your fucking stuffing into a waffle iron. You turn that shit into a waffle. You can either do that shit open face. You can like put it like on the plate with your turkey and your gravy and mashed potatoes on top of it, or you can use it as your bread. So you can take the stuffing and make it into like a waffle fucking sandwich, like a double down action. And you put your turkey and your gravy in the middle of it, and some cranberry, and it's the fucking nuts, dude. I'm telling you.
Dude, Taylor from Twitter, Taylor Canavari, I think the only other girl who listens to us besides Sharon, is skewering us right now. Quote, I hope you have a bunch of new listeners who write an iTunes review based on this one podcast. The Penguins only got a few minutes, and we've been talking about mashed potatoes for 6 hours.
Whatever. Who gives a shit?
I just don't even understand how you make a stuffing waffle. I got nothing.
Dude, it's bread. It's fucking bread, and it's all kinds of like moisture. It's like you're making stuff and you're baking that shit anyway. And I'm not talking about the stuffing that you shove up a fucking turkey's ass. Not that stuffing. That's the kind that like Mom Dukes puts in like a pan on the side, so everybody takes a scoop of it. So you take some of that, dude. It's like it's got all like the chicken stock in it and all that stuff. So it's like really nice and moist. And you spray the fucking waffle iron, you shove some of that in there, you press it down, dude. It turns into a fucking beautiful waffle, dude. I'm telling you, that becomes your bread. You don't have to use bread for your sandwich. Because it's already bread anyway, dude. It's just chopped up bread. I mean, come on, dude. I'm showing you the way. I'm showing you the way. Dude, I am you try this once, dude. I'm telling you. The next podcast, dude, you'll be fucking like Rummy, man. I don't know. He's a fucking like he can see shit into the future, man. That motherfucker is sick.
Rummy, I had a garbage can for a desk for the first 30.
Yeah, I know, dude. I
eat White Castle, and
dude, you can't say shit, dude.
I'm not making extravagant, fancy.
You can't step to
waffles.
me. No, but you can't step to me. That's not extravagant. it's a waffle iron, dude. That you can go to like fucking the cheapest. You can go to Walmart and get one for like $12, dude. Don't even front. Seriously, a waffle iron is cheap as fuck, and the good ones too.
I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna burn down my kitchen on Thanksgiving.
Jesus Christ! Or you can do like on a George Foreman too. Like I know you motherfuckers have George Foremans because you're like young, and like you saw that shit on QVC and you bought one. You know, like the little grill. You like put like fucking half sandwiches in there and you make like empanadas and whatnot.
I will say Rummy gave me a recipe once, and it turned out fantastic.
Of course, dude. What the fuck, dude? I'm old, and all I do, I'm sustaining my life force, dude. I know how to fucking eat and stay alive, dude. You're young and you got no furniture, bro. You gotta fucking listen to me, dude. I know how to stay alive, dude. I'm like the dude in the fucking apocalyptic fucking movie. Like I'm showing you how to fucking stay alive. Like we're killing squirrels and trees, motherfucker.
I don't know if
I know you guys are trying to be all like serious with your stats and everything, and then Rummy comes on the podcast and blows shit up. But it's Thanksgiving. Come on, let's have some fucking fun for Christ's sakes.
Well said.
Yeah, Jesus. The fuck, this world's going to shit anyway, dude. Trump's gonna blow everything up in like fucking 60 days. Who gives a fuck, dude? We're all gonna be dead in fucking 2 months. Holy Christ.
Even if your lineup sucked tomorrow, you learned how to make a fucking stuffing waffle.
That's it. I'm telling you.
That's why you come to the Power Hour podcast.
I'm telling you, when I put that stuffing waffle fucking joint on Twitter, man, motherfuckers are salivating and shit. So I don't know about you guys, man. You just don't want to try hard. You're over there setting your lineups. You're like, nah, I don't make no stuffing waffle. That sounds a little goofy. But, I see what you're saying.
All right. Well, Rummy.
Rummy took fucking control of the wheel and drove us off the cliff like Thelma and Louise. I feel you. You know what? Fuck you. If you're in chat right now saying that this is the worst podcast ever, fuck you. Because you know what? You'll come back in 2 weeks and say, you know what? I really wish that fucking stuffing waffle motherfucker was on this thing. Because that shit was the nuts. But anyway.
People right now are asking about my ironing board that used to be like in the background.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
I honest to God, turned around and I have no idea where it is.
Wow. It's you know what it is? It's right now. It's being set up in your like kitchen, and your girl's like putting like little condiment bowls and stuff for like Thanksgiving. She's like filling it with olives and snacks and whatnot. It's becoming like a side table probably.
It's gone, man. I have no words.
It's disappeared. He has no ironing board. All his shirts are wrinkled right now.
That's what the dry cleaners are for, man.
That's it, man. That's it.
All right. Do we got any last minute thoughts?
Yeah, I will never do this again. But anyway, go ahead.
Ronnie, when's your life advice podcast coming out? I want to hop on that.
Yeah, no, we're gonna fucking. It's actually not a life advice. It's like more like fucking group therapy than anything else. It's just like a bunch of fucking fuck ups from like fantasy, talking about different shit. But no, we just talk about it so much on Twitter, like in little bits and pieces. Like I thought, let's do like an off season, not so much like like Harmon's where he talks about how people made it, like, or they got started in fantasy, but like more or less like real life shit, like off season, like how we cope from now until football season.
I like it.
And I want to start that soon, hopefully by January, just like January to like, football season, and then fuck it, but we'll see. And it'll be like all kinds of silly shit, but it's really just kind of in the infancy stage right now. But you fucking idiots will be on there too, so we'll have some fun, We'll talk about what the fuck happened to Johnny's fucking ironing board. And I have a theory that he like used it to kill somebody, but I can't confirm nor deny, that he did that. So
one of the great mysteries of our times.
Yeah, truly. My attorney.
It's what we call a Portuguese surfboard. But anyway,
that's good.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I hope everybody in chat was like appreciating some of this life advice. Maybe you use some of this for your Thanksgiving planning. I will say this. I'm going to tell everybody right now, okay? A little bit of life advice for your Thanksgiving Day festivities. You're going to have somebody at your Thanksgiving dinner, a racist uncle, maybe a racist aunt, maybe you got a racist kid in your family, like a kid that's in like grammar school. Who knows?
What if you're the racist?
What if you're the fuck? Exactly. You don't even know. You look around. If there's like 1 in 3 is racist, it might be you in the middle. But if you go to Thanksgiving and somebody's spewing some like hatred shit, some Donald Trump-esque, like, this and that, and anti people of color, whatever, just take a walk, man. Just go outside, take a deep breath, take a walk, and just keep walking. And if you come right to the ocean, when you see the nice crisp water like crashing on the waves, just keep fucking walking, dude. Because if those people are in your family, it's not going to get any better. Just like walk right into the ocean and just fucking drown. All right? So that's my advice to you for Thanksgiving.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah. Keep it positive, man. I'm trying to keep it positive for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
All right. Well, this is
yeah, it's been real, man.
It's been real.
I'm never doing this again. Never.
Thanks for coming on.
That's not true. You're coming on for the Christmas pod.
Talking waffles with us, Rummy.
Talking waffles, baby. Waffles are the best. Any form of waffle really is a really good thing. They're underrated too. People too many pro pancake people out there.
No stuffing pancakes. That's for fucking sure.
No stuffing. That didn't even make any sense. You gonna put syrup on it? Ugh, gross, dude. Fucking gross. Anyway. All right, man. You motherfuckers. Right. I hope you have a good, happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody out there, people in chat who are like telling me fuck Rummy. I hope he dies. I love you guys too.
There's everyone wants you back.
Nah, they don't care.
Nixon, Taylor, all the people that matter.
I love you guys. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. Remember too, during Thanksgiving, there's always a place. There's a safe haven. There's a place to hide in the house. So find that place. Put a pillow down and maybe a blanket where you can take a nap. It's always a good thing. So enjoy yourself. Drink a lot. And listen, layer it, man. Layer it. Eggnog is not a hard. Listen, eggnog is gross. But eggnog is loaded with fat. So if you're going to drink a lot, have an eggnog in between. Because eggnog will fucking hook you up, dude. I'm telling you. Listen, I'm old. I know shit, dude. I know shit, dude. I know shit. Eggnog is like fucking eggs and fucking milk and all that nasty fat. that layers your shit. So if like you have some bourbon, have some eggnog, have some gin and tonics, have some eggnog, have some wine, some beer, some eggnog, you'll be all set. Don't worry about it.
We've officially talked food and beverages more than football.
Yes, yes,
we did it.
I hijacked this shit, man. Oh my god, I feel like the dude from The Walking Dead, the dude with the baseball bat. It's pretty good, man. Nice.
All right.
All right.
Let's call it.
Let's call it.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
I can't do this to you guys again. I'm never gonna do this because
that's not true.
This is hijacking.
Christmas.
This is the sheer. I swear to Christ, man. I feel like a fucking villain. You know.
MFL 10 tight ends.
Yes.
2017. We're doing.
No, we are gonna do an MFL 10 wrap up.
Okay.
We fucking analyze where it all went wrong. Why we shouldn't have drafted DeAndre Hopkins in any leagues at all.
That is a good idea. I hadn't thought of.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. Right now, how are you guys doing, by the way, real quickly, in MFL 10s? Have you guys like checked it all or no?
Yeah, I'm profitable.
Are you? Okay.
I have no idea how. I talked to Aaron H today, and he said I was profitable. So
cool.
Whatever.
Well, yeah. he's like your fucking MFL 10 like analyst. Yeah, you're totally profitable. Don't worry about it. You're fine.
I was too scared to check. I knew I had a lot of bad guys.
I check it like every 4 weeks. I check it. Well, you get the fucking updates like twice a week. It's like if you're in like more than like 25, holy shit! It's like your emails like delete. It's horrible. But yeah, no, I'm right now. I'm in probably out of 60. I'm probably in first or second in like 15 to 20. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Later.